thought I'd tell you a little story about a recent experience I had. And part of it is because I want to share what true advocacy is for clients who are buying and selling real estate. And secondly, is to let everybody know whether you are a first time home buyer or you've bought, 100 homes, it's always different in a different state. And there's a lot to be learned, especially when you are in the information gathering stage, that really does help you have a successful transaction. Um, I recently met a medical doctor, and I met this medical doctor actually in the hospital. I was a guest in the hospital, and was just there for a couple of days. And I had the just about ready to leave, and she's like, I know you're a realtor. Do you mind if I pick your brain for a few minutes? And she started asking me questions. Eh, I didn't have a signed buyer broker agreement with her. It was super casual, just talking like friends. We talked about a variety of different things at that point. And we had a really lovely conversation. And, this is a medical doctor, someone who's been through a variety of school, become an expert in many fields. And for all intents purposes, a very bright, articulate, smart person. However, real estate is a pretty level field. If you've not purchased real estate before, or if you're in a new environment, it's all has a tremendous learning curve. One of the first questions she asked me is, when are interest rates going to go down? So, that's the magic question. If I was able to answer that, if many people were able to answer that, we will have would have built a better mousetrap. And I know that there's people out there that flippantly say things like, you know, um, marry the house, date the rate, all those sorts of things. But there is a little bit of engineering that can go into getting you into a home, and at least you are paying money towards your own mortgage, not towards somebody else's mortgage. And that really does mean, if there is a chance for the mortgages to go down, you would be able to then refinance. Also, if you are purchasing a home and the market conditions allow for it, there are ways to either buy down the interest rate for a brief period of time or ask the sellers to do that. There are ways that can make that mortgage more affordable for you. This particular doctor was admittedly just saying, I'm just poking around in Zillow, I'm watching, and then asked me a specific neighborhood, like, when will the home prices go down in Apple Tree neighborhood? And I said, well, I don't know. How long have you been watching that neighborhood? And tell me a little bit about it. And so she did. And, there are math calculations that any really seasoned real estate agent's going to be able to do. And they can tell you if Apple Tree neighborhood has 2 months of inventory or 2 years of inventory and which direction that it's actually headed. And, we got to the bottom of she's been watching it for a little bit of time. And, things have come and gone relatively quickly, especially when they're more affordable. And I asked her, I said, well, if you're watching these homes, have you decided whether or not you would be buying cash or whether you would be financing? Because number one, there is a physician's mortgage where you are able to very often finance 100% of the loan. And it's specifically for those in the medical field, et cetera. And there's only a variety of, not every lender, you might not be able to go to just a regular everyday lender that offers this, but there's some lending institutions, banks, et cetera, that do. And I do not believe that she was aware of that program. So, it did, open her eyes to what was going on with that. Um, Secondly, I said, you should probably talk to a lender. And she's like, oh, no, 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 I'm not ready. And I'm like, I know you're not ready. But if you're watching the market and the homes come onto the market that you like and you watch them go quickly, if today at 2 p.m. the home of your dreams came on and it was doable, you feel, in the eyes of, your affordability, or it's in your budget, do you think you're the only person waiting for that home to come onto the market right now? It was like, bing, the light bulb went off on her head. Said, exactly. So you can speak with a lender now, even if you don't buy for years. You can speak with a lender now and get everything together, all the documents and paperwork you need. all the, work contracts or any of the underwriting items they need. Very often underwrite you as a buyer, so all you need is a property. And 3 months down the road that property, the perfect property shows up, you are able to just update a few articles of documents or things that the underwriters may need, and you're good to go with that offer. So that's why she should be getting pre-approved with a lender so that when the property does come onto the market, she's able to act swiftly. One of the things also, she was torn between buying this new property and perhaps doing a remodel. And, I've remodeled some homes. I've remodeled some homes in Florida even. And my last one was built in 1954, and it nearly broke my spirit. It was so hard. It was so hard. It is so expensive. And everything, if you say, I'm going to spend $100,000 on a remodel, I'm telling you, you're spending 165. Like it's just never on budget. Because as soon as you tear into an old house, there are surprises. There are termites. There's asbestos. There's cloth wiring. There's cast plumbing. All those things, and it's problematic. And I can only be imagine being a medical doctor trying to remodel a home with the heavy workload of taking care of patients and maybe even holding office hours or doing continuing education. The list of things that would be on this person's plate was immense. And we were both masked up, wearing a mask in the hospital. And I looked at this woman and I said, and I will tell you something personally. I'm going to talk to you like a mom now. We treat all of our clients and customers like they're our family. And it was time for me to go to mom mode. And I said, these old houses are beautiful. There's a lot of craftsman style. They're on streets with bricks. We're talking in a totally different county from here. And remodeling a home could be fun. It can be expensive. We talked about that. However, you know, from mom to maybe mom or mom to mom, I'm like, I don't know what your plans are for your life or whether you have a family or whether you plan to start a family, but it's a big deal. Like I have watched home remodels break marriages. It's not I mean, and right now I know there are people going, we almost got divorced over, a bathroom in the basement. We almost got, yeah, I'm telling you, it's hard on marriage. Moving is hard on marriages, let alone remodeling a house with the surprises and another 40,000, another 18,000, and nothing is inexpensive and the economy's never been worse. So if you add to that, like caring for a family or raising small children, or even just trying to get pregnant, because that's the next thing on your list or agenda of things to do. And again, I just saw the face go like this, like these are the things that people don't think about. And I really feel that a lot of people think real estate agents just want to sell houses. And honestly, those of us who have been in the market for quite some time, I mean, I seventh presidential election as a real estate agent. So I'm watching this goofy market going, here we go again. Like it's not a big deal. It'll iron itself out. But with experience, we know we don't want these people to be miserable. We want to see you at Publix and be thrilled to see each other and feel like you were not saddled with a home and that you didn't buy a problem and that we weren't the cause of your divorce because the remodel was too much or you didn't start your family soon enough because the house was too much responsibility. There are just so many things. And we had a lovely chat about real estate and how to do things and feel like you are in control of your situation as much as you can be. There are tons of things to do to get prepared. There are tons of things to do so that you don't have surprises. There are tons of things to do so that you know what the next step is when it presents itself. You know, one of the other things that we talked about is, talking about that pre-qualification, and you can be pre-qualified and be credit worthy enough for a dollar figure. And let's just throw out some wild dollar figures. Let's just say a lender says to you, you qualify for $10,000 a month. It doesn't matter. 5,000, 1,000, 10,000. Pick a number. if somebody says you qualify for a $10,000 a month house payment, that doesn't mean you want a $10,000 a month house payment. And this is where, when you're working with the lender and the realtor, you come to some sort of a realization of what the real budget for your home purchase is. Because just because you can't afford it doesn't mean you don't want to pay it. And that might mean saving for the remodel, or saving into your retirement and buying modestly. And I'm one of those people that always tell people, tap the brakes, buy conservatively. You could upsize down the road. That's one of the things that I did speak to this doctor about. I said, am I telling you not to remodel a house? Absolutely not. I love old homes. I know that they have charm, and they're so interesting, and there are so many wonderful things that you can do to these homes to just make them so unusual, and they're so unlike a lot of the production developers that just build, the same 8 or 9 floor plans. However, I'm not saying don't remodel a home right now. I'm just saying, like, maybe that's 10 years down the road. Maybe it's after your kids are grown and you're looking to fill some of your spare time and your empty nest with rebuilding a nest. You have to make wise decisions so that you have quality of life while you're living in these homes also. Um, I think that might have been long and rambling, but I don't think it matters that you're a medical doctor or if you work, you know, in a secretarial pool. Buying a home, being prepared, deliberately choosing your payment for a good portion of your life, um, choosing whether or not you want quality of life over a big house. All these things matter, and that's why we offer to sit down and strategize with people to make sure that they do buy a home and they're thrilled with their home, and they aren't calling us in a year because they're sick of their home or they made a bad buy and they're ready to move on. So if we can help you in any way, learn more on how to take the next best steps for purchasing or even selling a home, upsizing, downsizing on the other side of it, let us know. We've got some great procedures and some great advice. Doesn't mean you have to buy or sell anything immediately. It just means you start off on a path that actually is going to bring a fruitful ending to you.